As the AI Turns Season 3 apparently is out, with Sam Altman returning to OpenAI. Plus, is there going to be a future and much closer relationship between xAI and Tesla? And Neuralink announces their first human trials, and they could be a game changer for many, many people, including a friend of a very close friend of mine. Let's take a look. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. It is bright and early on Wednesday. Happy almost Thanksgiving to the folks in the United States. So I'm going to do this video and then I'm going to go to the gym. Usually I go to the gym first and then I do a video. But anyway, I wanted to talk about this post first. This is something Elon reposted a few hours ago. I guess it was like 12 hours ago now. But anyway, Neuralink, check out our latest video to learn more about our PRIME study. Basically, I'm not going to go ahead and play this all the way through. I will leave a link to this and all the other stuff in the description. By the way, my videos are getting more and more based on X news, which is really interesting. So forget about mainstream media and stuff. All the news is happening on X right now. So anyway, this is the device right here, and it would be implanted in quadriplegics' brains and people with ALS, and allow them to control computers, computer interface specifically through your brain instead of having to manipulate things. So perfect for people who don't have access to their hands in specific because of different diseases or injuries or something. And I have a friend, like I said, who a close friend of mine had a friend of his who is 18 years old who was involved in a very tragic accident in an automobile and severed his spinal cord at, I think, C7, if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, I don't quote me on that one. But anyway, it's an injury that has made him a quadriplegic. And so a study like this, or potentially a future study, which I know that Neuralink is talking about bridging the gap between the brain and the lower spinal column, could also potentially be game changers for him. But no matter what, I told my friend, I sent this immediately to him and said, you know, have your friend look at this. So not only is this amazing for humanity, but it actually could affect, you know, me personally through someone who I know through a friend of mine. So anyway, I'm sure there are many people out there with similar stories, and I just wanted to pass that on as a little bit of a public service announcement, or whatever you want to call it.
Let's face it, after a night with drinks, I don't bounce back the next day like I used to. And so the choice has been have a great night or a great next day. That is, until I found ZBiotics. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. And for those who want to know, here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. It's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it the most. Just remember to drink ZBiotics before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly of course, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Go to zbiotics.com/drknow or scan the QR code on your screen right now to get 15% off your first order when you use Dr. No at checkout. You can also sign up for a subscription using my code so you can stay prepared no matter the time or the occasion. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee, so if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. I had the opportunity to try ZBiotics for the first time last weekend, and I can honestly say ZBiotics made a huge difference. I drank a bottle of ZBiotics before hanging out with friends, stayed hydrated between drinks, and the next day I felt great. I have to say this is a real game changer for those fun nights. Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so make sure you stock up on ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic before the feast. Trust me, you'll be thankful you did the next day. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/drknow and use the code DrKnow at checkout for 15% off. A big thanks to ZBiotics for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to it.
Anyway, then on to the next thing, which is that Sam Altman has now rejoined OpenAI, as the rumors were. So he posted this at 1:08 a.m. this morning, just a few hours ago. I love OpenAI, and everything I've done over the past few days has been in service of keeping this team and its mission together. So if you don't know, the board, led by Ilya Sutskever, who then has since rescinded this opinion, fired Sam and also Greg Brockman, who was the chairman of the board. Anyway, just crazy stuff going on. And then they said they were all going to go to Microsoft, and I think 750 potentially out of 770 employees at OpenAI said they would follow them turmoil, and then there were problems with ChatGPT and the API not working particularly well because who knows who was manning who was manning the whole thing, the servers and everything late at night while all of this stuff was going on. But now it looks like everything is going to get resolved back again, with the exception of potentially there are some employees who might go elsewhere. Andrej Karpathy potentially could be one of them, given that Elon Musk has refollowed him, and Andrej said that he was looking into centralization versus decentralization and what he thought was the best answer to that. So anyway, lots of stuff going on. I'm kind of hopeful that some of the employees of OpenAI will go elsewhere, not because of any particular interest in any particular company, but simply because I'm a big fan of decentralization. I think that the more places the extreme talent that's out there goes, the better the future looks for all of us. That's just my own personal opinion about that. But anyway, so continuing on, when keeping this team and its mission together, when I decided to join Microsoft on Sunday evening, it was clear that the best path for me and the team, with the new board and with Satya's support, I'm looking forward to returning to OpenAI and building on our strong partnership with Microsoft. And, in case you wanted to know what Satya was thinking about that, Satya responded to this by saying, "We are encouraged," and he, of course, is the CEO of Microsoft, "we are encouraged by the changes to the OpenAI board. We believe this is a first essential step on a path to a more stable, well-informed, and effective governance. Sam, Greg, and I have talked and agreed that they have a key role to play with the OpenAI leadership team in ensuring OpenAI continues to thrive and build on its mission. We look forward to building on our strong partnership and delivering the value of this next generation of AI to our customers and partners." So Satya, he's just like, whatever you guys decide to do, I'm happy to have you as a team on Microsoft officially. Happy to have you guys be with us as OpenAI still. He seems to be rolling with this very, very well. Apparently he was super pissed when this original thing happened, but he is at least publicly doing a good job of controlling the narrative and everything. So then let's take a look at Lore, which, by the way, is excellent. You should perhaps think about signing up for this. They produce a newsletter like every day or something. So anyway, this is the return of Sam Altman. Good morning. What a crazy week. For the past few days, we've witnessed the most insane event in Silicon Valley history. I'm not positive that that's true, but it's one of the most insane events. Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI and previous president of Y Combinator, was unexpectedly fired from OpenAI. And as of a few hours ago, after immense pressure from investors, sounds like, Microsoft, and over 90% of the OpenAI team, he's been rehired. So I didn't know about the Microsoft pressure. I don't know why Microsoft would push for this, but it's possible that they want to avoid any type of monopolistic issues or lawsuits or things like that too, because of course the OpenAI board and OpenAI itself and Microsoft being a massive investor in it could be sued for malfeasance and stuff. So anyway, Microsoft is probably like, we don't want to deal with that. They're a 49%, I believe, stakeholder in OpenAI. They probably just don't want any of that stuff. They'd rather just have things continue rolling. I'm still trying to process what all went down. This all started 2 days after I began hearing rumors from friends that early training of GPT-5, this is the interesting part of this, was looking incredibly promising. And this circles back to Ilya Sutskever's post about if you value human intelligence above all other things, you're going to have a bad time. And Elon responding to that, and a conversation about that. This is a little wild card in this whole thing too. Anyway, if this thing is looking very, very promising, that could be scary because this thing could be very, very, very intelligent. Anyway, then all of a sudden, Sam was fired apparently out of nowhere without any warning, without investors being informed. As far as I can tell, certain board members at OpenAI seem to want the company to slow down development. Most notably, Helen Toner recently wrote a paper praising their competitor, Anthropic, who is a little bit more aligned with safety, former OpenAI employees who started that anyway, and criticizing OpenAI for moving towards AGI too fast. One of the craziest parts of the whole story is that the board never told anyone precisely why they fired Sam. I don't believe they have, even to this point. They brought in Twitch co-founder Emmett Shear to be interim CEO, and he resigned very quickly within a few hours because the board wouldn't provide any evidence or even make specific claims. This is unheard of. I'm glad that everything is back to normal now, and I am excited to see what's next for OpenAI. I believe the team will be stronger than ever before, but also this has hurt their reputation in the short term and will make many people take open source AI more seriously, and that would be a good thing in my mind. We share even more details today in the news section below. So yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on. And then, as if things couldn't get even more interesting in the AI world, let's take a look at a post that Dave Lee posted last night. And awesome. Hi, Dave. It was great to have a chance to talk to Dave live on Farzad's live stream a couple of days ago. So anyway, really good to see him again. I thought I was going to see him in Texas next week, but I guess he'll be in Florida. So anyway, we'll keep it virtual at this point. Anyway, Dave said, I'd like to see a partnership between Tesla and xAI. Tesla provides monetary, number one, how the deal works. Tesla provides a monetary investment into xAI as well as Dojo compute resources going forward. I would throw in also H100 resources because Tesla is getting a pretty substantial servers farm going on that front. And then two, and the quid pro quo, xAI gives Tesla some equity and access to Grok AI going forward. What do you think, Elon Musk? And then I believe, let's see if I can find the right post. Oh, that was Elon's. Anyway, yeah. So Stephen Mark Ryan responded, and somehow I am missing that response. Oh, maybe it's actually in line here. Yep, there's where it is. Okay, so Stephen Mark Ryan responded with probable. And this is this is a picture from, I'm not exactly sure where, but rather interestingly, it says advisory. So this was on the Grok, I assume, xAI, whatever, their constitution, whatever you call that thing. Relation to X Corp, we are a separate company from X Corp, but will work closely with X/Twitter, Tesla, and other companies to make progress towards our mission. And Stephen Mark Ryan, highlighted the word Tesla. So it appears that this has been potentially in the works for quite a while. Anyway, so that brings us to Elon. Jason DeBolt said, I'm behind this. And Elon said, I will discuss this with the board. I would throw out the idea that this has been in the works in the background for a while and that discussing this with the board might be rediscussing this. But anyway, I think a lot of these backroom ideas are happening as we go, but that they haven't made any official decisions. How does that sound? So anyway, official decisions would be very, very interesting and I think very appropriate. And again, this is a good way to sort of, it diversifies things a little bit, but it also allows Grok access to Tesla's servers and things, but it gives Tesla access to a lot of very highly trained large language model stuff, and who knows what else xAI is working on. They're not just working on Grok. That's not the only thing they're doing. Anyway, so Tesla owners of Silicon Valley said X and Grok combined is going to be awesome. And to my happiness, Elon said, yeah, Grok should be available to all X Premium Plus subscribers next week. Yay. So anyway, that will be awesome. I can't wait to get a hold of it for myself. But anyway, so that's what brings us to just a quick discussion of why xAI and Tesla is kind of a marriage made in heaven, potentially at least, depending on what Tesla has been working on. But I have been convinced for quite a while, since June of this year, actually, when I saw the CVPR talks, that Tesla is busy working on integrating large language model elements into its neural network, its end-to-end neural network. And I think that, actually we saw evidence of this at AI Day 2 last fall. I can't believe it's been over a year ago now, when John Emmons talked about using language modeling for lanes. But I'm talking about even more deeply integrated, like part of the whole package that is allowing the full self-driving stack version 12, which we haven't seen publicly yet, of course, but allowing that stack to operate in a linguistic sort of way, a way of having memory for what's going on. So large language models are good at windowing, and you can continue a conversation. So as anybody who's used ChatGPT knows, you have like a history, and you can hop right back into that history. And if you told it to pretend to be a lawyer or something like that, right? It will continue pretending in that context because it has a window that it has access to as a memory. So one really useful aspect of a large language model is to provide memory, which is something that full self-driving really doesn't have. A local memory, not a global memory. It's trained on things, but it doesn't understand locality and your own preferences. So it basically drives as if it's a new driver in a scenario every single time. And a large language model would provide some access to it being able to drive like a local. So if it drove with you on your path to work every day that you take, that's not exactly the same as what the general navigation is, which is the case in my particular situation, it would allow the system to kind of understand that and remember that and have a local memory without having to retrain the network or anything. So that would be really, really cool. That's one particularly lovely aspect of it. Another one is that integrating it in very deeply into the end-to-end network would allow it to have a sort of linguistic understanding of the world and communicate with the user and with the Tesla full self-driving development team. So it would be able to communicate what it's thinking. And that actually is a problem. Elon talked about that back in August when he and Ashok did the test drive in Elon's Model S, that they were having, they don't know. The visualization is a guess at what the neural network is thinking at that point because they don't have direct access to it. They're just taking the outputs. So a large language model built in would give the developers, but also us users, more access to what the vehicle is thinking. And number three, it actually will help in Tesla's work towards AGI. I believe that full self-driving actually has a leg up on large language models in terms of getting to an artificial superintelligence or an artificially intelligent agent. Let me put it that way. So AGI is different. AGI is artificial general intelligence. You can have a dumb thing that is really good at many different tasks. And dumb, by dumb, I mean just not conscious at all. And I believe that basically something like ChatGPT and Grok or whatever already is that to some extent. So it doesn't have a consciousness, but it's smart. So it's just a really, really smart tool, basically. But an artificially intelligent agent is something that actually understands the world and has agency in the world and wants things, it desires things. That's what separates humans from these right now. They don't have any desires. Their only desire might be to please humans, or in the case of Grok, to amuse humans. But that is not a specific personal desire. And to get to that artificially intelligent agency, it's going to take something, I believe, more than large language models. I could be proven wrong, of course. I have been wrong many times. But I think that Tesla's full self-driving has a leg up. And in implanting more of a large language model into the system, into the end-to-end neural network system, will allow it access to that even more deeply. As far as what Grok could do, maybe Grok can provide access to that underlying system, but I think that Tesla's underlying linguistic large language model is going to be very, very particular. But what Grok could really do, and again, who knows what else xAI is working on right now, but it could provide a layer on top of that where it's a really, really efficient communication pipeline between the human, the driver, and the car. And of course, let's not forget Optimus, because it's going to be even more important when we have a humanoid robot out there in the world. If we have a humanoid robot that can think deeply about things and then a layer on top of it, or even potentially, again, built into the system, maybe Grok can be integrated more deeply, but having that sort of translation between Optimus's thoughts and human thoughts would be incredibly valuable. It will make these robots way more valuable than they would be without that. That allows them to be conversation partners, to understand very unclearly specified tasks. Again, the classic go get me a beer, right? It's like, well, where is the beer? What house am I in? How do I get from that house to the refrigerator? Or is it in the refrigerator? Maybe it's outside in the garage right now. Maybe it's downstairs in the refrigerator downstairs. Maybe I need to go chill it for a while. You know, there's lots and lots of potential outcomes with a very, very loosely defined task that's at hand. And that's where integrating a large language model very, intimately into a robotics system like full self-driving, someday they're going to come up with a better name than full self-driving, because it just doesn't work for Optimus. But you know what I'm saying. The full self-driving thing, whether it's for a car or for a humanoid robot, the more integrated large language models are into that, the better off it's going to work. And then, of course, your Optimus will have, instead of going to your computer or your phone, you can just say like, yo, what's the news, Optimus? And it can give you, if it has access to Grok, it goes and scans X. It goes and scans X, and it looks through the day's events and what's going on while you were sleeping. This is what I have to do manually every morning, and it digests it and it gives you a rundown of things that it thinks you might be interested in, and then you can ask it questions and it can respond. So that will give it an incredible leg up. Now, yes, that can absolutely be done without a robotic interface, but it will be really cool if the thing is making you breakfast while it's telling you about all this stuff, or driving you to work, or whatever that, whatever the case might be. So this is really, really valuable. I think that having Grok have access to Tesla's servers and stuff will be good long term. Although I know Tesla needs every flop that they have right now, they need, because they're working so hard to train this stuff up. But eventually they're going to have periods of time where they have overage, just like Amazon Web Services does. And the first client they could give that to, instead of to the general public, could be xAI, to give them access to more servers. And then xAI, of course, giving them access to Grok. And also, if they're working on multimodal stuff or things like that, that could be very beneficial as well. And we'll see how diffusion models have to do with all of this too, because Elon has talked about CNNs and diffusion models and things like that as well. But that topic for another day. Anyway, so that's a lot of news. I would love to know what you all think about this yourselves and where you think this is all going. It's exciting times. It's also a little bit terrifying, because who knows where all this is going to go. The one thing that seems to be being thrown out in all of this is AGI safety. So I hope that somebody is still paying attention to that. Anyway, that's what I got. I hope everybody has a lovely day. Again, happy Thanksgiving week to the folks who are celebrating it in the United States, and everywhere else, happy Wednesday. And be sure to like and subscribe, and that really helps out the channel. Again, 60+% of you do not subscribe, and I would really appreciate it if more of you did. That would be awesome. And be sure to check out our merch store. Thank you to the folks who are supporting me on X and on Patreon and on YouTube. I really appreciate that. And yeah, don't forget about the fact that you can purchase a car. If you click a link, you can go for a test drive. Apparently, there will be Cybertruck test drives within the next couple of weeks at local showrooms. So definitely click my link and go for a Cybertruck test drive when it's available, or test drive the other cars, or purchase a car, all of that kind of stuff. You can save $500 or $1,000. And finally, a big thanks once again to xBiotics for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check out my link in the description and get 15% off your first order. Be sure to check out my link in the description. Use Dr. No at checkout and get 15% off your order. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.